Hello everybody. For my reflection activity, I wanted to talk about a film that focuses on utilization of community programs. So for my film of choice, I've chosen one called Give Me Shelter, directed by Ronald Cross and released in 2013. So the story of the film, it discusses about a 14-year-old, a teenage girl named Agnes Bailey, but goes by the name Apple as a nickname. During the plot of the film, she tries to run away from her abusive mother, who was a drug addict. So, in her attempt of leaving, she goes to find an old friend of hers named Tom Fitzpatrick, who tries to seek help from him. After introducing herself to Tom's family, his wife wasn't very comfortable having her around because she seemed like a homeless person, but based on her facial features, of course. However, they later then discovered that she's feeling ill because she's been pregnant. However, there was nothing Tom could do to help her at the moment because his wife refused to have her around, especially if she's about to have a child. So, um, so Agnes decides to find help some other way. Later on, she's then approached by a stranger who tries to force her into enter his vehicle. She does, but as an attempt to lower his guard, she steals away his car and tries to drive off, but then ends up in a car accident, which thankfully she survived but was horribly injured. While recovering at the hospital, she meets a priest named Frank McCarthy who wanted to discuss her accident, about what happened, and then talks about trying to return to her mother, but she disagrees because she doesn't trust her. Later on, once she gets to know McCarthy a little better, he agrees to take her to a shelter for young pregnant women, which was founded by a woman named Kathy, who, during the plot of the film, she explains that she was once a homeless woman at first, and afterwards she founded a job where she earned enough money to buy herself a new home. And she made that new home a shelter for young teenage girls who were impregnated. During the film, one day, June, who is Agnes's mother, tries to find her daughter and try to bring her back. However, due to her relationship with her mother, she doesn't trust her because she's worried about facing more abuse, especially with her newborn child. Like, she'll treat them both horribly. So she refuses to go with her, and Kathy is forced to tell June to leave when she becomes violent towards her daughter and tries to take her back by force. By the end of the film, she gives birth to a young girl she decides to name Hope. After that, she decides to stay at the shelter because she formed a special bonding relationship with the other girls there, as if they were her new family. While looking up any related materials discussing the film, for example, in chapter 6, as part of the textbook, there were some elements that roll with the plot of the film, such as single parenting, substance abuse, and youth violence. Such as, for youth violence and substance abuse, I've discussed earlier the relationship between Agnes and her mother due to her being a drug addict, and while being heavily intoxicated, she would perform any violent actions. Later on in chapter 6, it discusses about how both Frank and Tom They both discuss Agnes about what she's going to do to help her child, such as after she gives birth, she has to take full responsibility of being a young adult, such as finding a job, to then find a place to call home, and to provide whatever future her child will need when she grows up. After watching this film, it made me see the perspective of a young mother who is about to bring a child to this world, and she would do anything for the sake of her child, such as bonding, seeking assistance from supportive family and friends, to provide faith and a bright future for them both.